Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hey, are you having a hard time getting notified of new content? I want to let you know that we have a new option for texting. You can actually get a text before the videos go out of what's coming up on the channel. And if you want to sign up, there's a link in the description box below. If you are new, welcome to my channel. I am Katie Joy, and this is Without a Crystal Ball. All right, so we're gonna do a follow-up on Myka Stauffer because last month I actually sat down with New York Magazine and I spoke with Caitlin, who is the author of this piece, about Myka Stauffer. And Caitlin had actually reached out to me and she wanted to talk to me about Myka. She had watched a lot of my videos. She had realized and noticed that I'd had an opportunity to speak to a lot of people that Myka Stauffer had in her life. Family connections, former friends, blogger friends, even people that worked with her, people that were her neighbors. A lot of people came to me. And so a lot of the talk I had with her was really about what these people that were in Myka's life said. And Caitlin was kind of looking for a picture to paint of who Myka was. And it's not surprising because Myka did not participate in this article. So yesterday the article was published. The title of the article is Unadopted YouTubers Myka and James Stauffer Shared Every Step of Their Parenting Journey Except Their Last. The article actually did a very good timeline of everything that the Stauffers did from the very beginning till the very end, including a ton of information about how they grew their channel, how they grew their analytics, and some of the aspects that she got into and some of the people she was able to talk to really give us a lot more information about how much she was doing this adoption and working this adoption to grow her channel, as well as things that she did where she was not supposed to, or rules that she broke. So the article, actually, Caitlin spoke with her adoption agency. So in a lot of her videos, Myka talked about her adoption and she shared everything. I mean, everything. Huxley's private medical information, all the kinds of details about his medical diagnoses, detailing what his special needs will be. When you look back at these videos now, it feels so invasive. Like, why on earth would any mother get up on TV or on their screen or on their camera and talk about a child who is not, one, legally theirs, they haven't yet met, and have only seen a file? They don't know anything about this child other than what's on paper and a picture that they've seen. And she made the choice to go online and literally tease out every aspect of it, everything. Providing this child, from the moment she had her eyes on him, no privacy. So this is very true. She shared every single detail until the very last one. But the agency actually told Caitlin and New York Magazine this. They asked the Vice President of Policy and External Affairs for Holt International, who is the agency that they used, about whether or not it is advisable to share information about adoption. And they said, we do not advise it. In fact, we asked them specifically not to do it. And so what happened was the agency that they used, which was World Association for Children and Parents, merged with Holt International. So Huxley's adoption was through World Association for Children and Parents. They merged with Holt, and so now all of those two agencies are under one umbrella, which is Holt, and Holt would technically be who she used. And they said, not only can publicizing an adoption jeopardize it, but it's often seen as playing into the stereotype of white families swooping in to save foreign children. And it perpetuates the stereotype of lesser, according to the agency. Now, this was something a lot of you guys mentioned in the comments as we talked about this for months, that there's this whole white knight or martyrness, or I'm going to savior complex is what a lot of you guys talked about. And how, even in her own videos, Myka was like, I'm going to go and I'm going to save all the children in the orphanage. And as though they needed saving from her a million miles away in the United States. So her agency was strongly against them doing this. It was actually a big rule that she broke. And I've actually spoken to several people in the adoption community since this happened, and they said that Myka and the way that Myka shared her story has completely changed the way that these adoption agencies will allow people to speak about adoptions. They do not want anyone sharing anything about kids that have not been adopted in terms of like photos or any details until they actually have the child and the child has been adopted. And some even speculated that what Myka did caused such an uproar that it potentially led to the two adoption agencies merging. Now, that's not confirmed, but that was just the rumblings when I spoke to people in the community. Then New York Magazine actually had a chance to talk to somebody that was in the adoption world that was running some Facebook groups. So if you remember, some of the stuff that we talked about over the last several months were like, Myka was going into groups and sharing all kinds of stuff about, what Huxley was dealing with and how she was feeling and, wanting to know about different adoption things and wanting to travel to China. And one person said that ran one of the Facebook groups. Her name is Cynthia Martin. She's actually a clinical psychologist and she specializes in autism. She said that she adopted her first daughter from China. And she said that she encountered Myka in a group specific to parents who either had adopted from China or were interested. And she said that Myka was very vocal within the group and had reached out to her to ask her about various special conditions. So Myka posted a lot in the group. And not only that, she wanted to speak to her privately. And she says that Myka talked about her vlog all the time. She said she did ask to be followed and if I wouldn't mind helping her out, that her family was really trying to get this vlog off the ground. She framed it as wanting to use it as a way to document their adoption process, similarly to how some other families will blog about things. But those are blogs that are generally geared towards family, friends, and people in your close community. The solicitation of it was completely off-putting, she said, and that she would ask families, can you follow me and can you go and like my videos? And then she continued, myself as well as other families who I am in touch with through this community decided we are going to keep our distance now. So it's clear through this woman's experience who has this Facebook group that Myka was using these groups to gain followers and to grow her channel, to grow her journey. It was like, listen, any vlogger will go out and go share, right? Like part of being an influencer is that you need to go put your booty out there. If you're on social media, you need people to watch to make money. But I mean, imagine doing something as private as adoption and going into a sacred group and a sacred space, which a lot of people will say, these Facebook groups, especially when it comes to adoption, are a safe space for parents. And going in there and wanting to profit off of it by, follow my blog because I'm going to be doing an adoption. It almost feels like from the get-go, she was looking to adopt for followers. That right there tells me so much more about this entire situation because those people there saw it firsthand. So she broke the agency rules. She combed groups for followers to get people to follow her. And then the final thing that I wanted to mention that's from this article that I found interesting was that they spoke to an agency that handles Desolution. And they said that, a lot of times families come into Desolution and they think it's a child problem. But they actually spoke to Nightline Christian Adoptions, and they spoke to Katie England, who is a licensed social worker and the executive director. And she actually said to them that one of the biggest misconceptions is the dissolution happens because the child is bad. 9 times out of 10, it's not the child's behavior. It seems like it's the child's behavior, but it's the child's behavior triggering something in the family. And Debbie Riley, another CEO of Center for Adoption Support and Education, says in her experience, the most common reason for dissolution is that the parents feel incompetent to manage the child's behaviors. So when they went on to their Facebook or their YouTube video, they were like, multiple dangerous things happened in our house and our children weren't safe. whose responsibility as a parent, whose responsibility is it to control and to watch and to monitor and to bring to the world? Like, whose job is it to raise and to ensure the safety of the children, the parents? The biggest thing that I noticed when I was reading the police report is that this child was thrown into a situation where he was on camera from the very first day he met them. He was a hindrance to their vlogging. He was not getting the kind of supervision, not only that, but the kind of help. Like, they had him enrolled in so much stuff, and they had people coming into their house to care for him. It's almost as though it didn't match the life that they wanted. They weren't anticipating the needs that he had, and they were overwhelmed. Instead, they just wanted other people to take care of it instead of them. And instead of like working through that, they decided to have another kid. Like, that was the one part of the story that I never understood. Why would you adopt a child who's clearly struggling and needs 100% of you for that period of time? Why would you then go on and get pregnant? It made no sense to me. You have your hands full with this child who you've promised to care for and love for the rest of your life. And now you're going to bring in a biological child, which effectively will be your own child. And then the problem child that you've been struggling with becomes even more of a problem because now you have a new baby. But that problem child isn't yours, and you can throw them away. This story will never make me feel good. I am so grateful, though, that New York Magazine did this amazing article. These were just 3 parts of this article that I thought were amazing, but I would urge you to read the rest of this article and really see from start to finish how this all played out, because it's the best timeline I've seen thus far. I'd love to know what your thoughts are. Are you shocked that her agency spoke out against this? And are you surprised to hear from the people in the adoption world that she was combing these groups for subscribers? Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.